we're back again. So if you didn't catch my video of my trip to Smithfield Market, this is basically the reason why I get up and do the 4 hour round trip. Now I live in Suffolk, to get some excellent beef. This is Stoddard's beef all the way from Scotland, and it's imported, that's the right terminology, imported into the UK by Stevie at Longcroft and Old at Smithfield Market, and then he then supplies butchers all around the UK, Essex, London, you name it. He gets the beef into all these amazing places. The Devonshire pub in Camden basically only serves Stoddard's beef, so that is a testament to the quality. I've been using this beef for years. If you've seen me do amateur butchery videos in the past, this is the beef I use. You get it a little bit cheaper if you go to the market. So I think the ribeyes worked out £20 a kilo, which again, dirt cheap, especially if you buy it in bulk. The sirloin, a little bit more expensive now, that's about £27 a kilo, so things are going up in price. But I just love going to Smithfield. It's great, it's full of history, characters, get some amazing beef, and yeah, now it's all about processing it into kind of usable steaks. This will be for kind of dinners, this will be for content, this will be for recipe development. So although it seems like quite a lot of beef for kind of like a small family, it does get used in content throughout the year. I freeze it all in with a vac pack machine, so in theory it can last up to a year in the freezer. I've never had any issues with quality. I've not basically done this and had a steak out the freezer and thought, oh, that tastes a little bit frozen or whatever. So yeah, it's a good way of getting maximum yield for your money. So I think we will start with the sirloin. We will put these ribeyes to one side. And away we go. You've seen the butchery video I did on the rib of beef. Similar tools. I've got a small kind of sharp, like boning knife from Starrett, and I've got a steak butchery knife, like a bigger knife to get some kind of like the bigger cuts. Again, I'm not selling this beef. This isn't for a shop window. It's not going to look the prettiest sometimes. End of the day, I just want big steaks that I can freeze, and the bigger they are, I like going thicker on the steak, so like an inch thick, and then me and my wife can share it rather than trying to get two 250 gram steaks. You're better off doing one big 500 gram steak and sharing it, because it is easier to cook on the barbecue. You get a better crust, you get a better texture, and you get that pink in the center. Whereas if you're cutting like a 200 gram steak that's really, really thin, you're really going to struggle to get that beautiful crust, especially on a barbecue cooking at high temperatures. So first things first, we'll get it out of the packaging. We'll pat it dry, because it's going to have all the kind of liquid that it's been sealed in. So these are wet aged beef. You can buy dry aged beef, but this is wet aged because it has been sealed in its own liquid. And then we'll portion it up into steaks. Let's go. And you may hear in the background, I've got the bones from the rib of beef, or the bone-in sirloin that I butchered for last week's video. The bones are all roasting away in there, so I'm making some amazing beef tallow out of that. But let's get this out of the packaging. We'll try and keep as much of that liquid in the bag as we can. Oos. And then we're just going to pat dry the surface of the beef, mainly because it just makes it easier to cut. You think it's all wet at the minute, so it's all slipping around like mad. So when I try and cut it, it's going to slide all over the board. So we'll get as much of that liquid off as possible. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Lovely marbling. Nice rich red meat. Probably about 6 7 kilos there. Nice. Really uniform, smart piece of beef. So now it's just a case of cutting it into steaks. These are not dead straight, so it's not like you're going to get perfectly straight cuts from the off. This end here, if you can kind of see, is a little bit skew width. So the first kind of steak off is always going to be your kind of steak. I always have it as like a butcher's treat, like my treat. So that'll be the bigger of the steaks because it's got like a bulbous end, and that is mine. So I'll basically put that to one side. I mean, you can do like a little bit of tidying up and stuff, but ultimately this is all good, eatable beef. So I don't want to start trimming off too much. Like some bits might come off as we butcher it up, but let's get going. Always take, now I'm not handling the beef with the gloved hand. I always take one off, so I've got a hand free for butchery to hold the knife, and if I need to touch anything else, I don't get cross-contamination. But I'll bring you in a little bit closer, and then you can see how we cut them into steaks. Down. Boom. Lovely. I mean, pretty straightforward, right? You just literally need a sharp knife and a good eye. And if you need to measure it, so say you want an inch thick steak, just measure it and just do a little kind of guide slice before you get going. You're never going to get perfect kind of straight ones because like the end bits, these ones here, are just not uniform. So you kind of come away with two, like, say, scraggy. They are, aren't they, really? They're just not uniform. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 good sized steaks. I'll give one a little weigh just so we can kind of see what we've got in terms of gram per steak and go from there. So a nice 400-gram steak, perfect for 2 people sharing, and that's exactly what I wanted. So rather than trying to get two 200-gram steaks, which would be really difficult for me, like I'm no master butcher, that is what I prefer to go to. So 2 of those, that will feed 2 people, 200 grams per person, 400 grams. Let's get onto the ribeye. Sirloins butchered into 400-gram steaks, and then now we're going to go on to the ribeye. My favourite cut, love a ribeye, and especially a big thick one. 300 grams, that's me for dinner. Don't need any more, don't need any less. And again, I go thicker because I find it easier to cut them thicker at home with what I have than a trained butcher. So that's why I go slightly bigger. Means you can share them. If there's a little bit of leftover, hey, doesn't matter, can have a little bit of leftovers. But ultimately, we're going to do the same, get it out of the packaging, pat it dry, and then cut it into steaks. Bosh, a bosh. There we have it, a beautiful ribeye roast. So what we're going to do is cut it into similar steaks, like 400 grams, 350 grams. Yeah, just trying to keep it nice and uniform, nice and flat. I've put the fat side down on the board so it doesn't move around as much. And yeah, you can see, beautiful. So let's get some nice straight ribeyes out of this. Oh, yes. I'll bring you in a bit closer so you can have a look. Yes. Look at that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 18 ribeyes and 13 sirloins. As I said, when I get to the end of the steak, or just at the beginning, I always end up with one kind of like big, like thick one, which again, I don't mind. It's like, if I'm really hungry, I know that there's like a super special thick one. I bet this is probably about 600 grams. So yeah, if I need an extra thick steak, I've got one. I just can't get them any kind of more uniform with the equipment I've got, or the skill set I've got basically. So yeah, there we go. That was the spoils of the trip to Smithfield. The ribeye worked out £19.50 a kilo. The sirloin was £26 per kilo. So per steak, oh my God, here we go. So yeah, if you're trying to work it out, you can obviously work out what you pay per 100 grams and then add up. So basically £19.50 a kilo. So £1.90 per 100 grams. So a 400 gram steak is around about £8. You go supermarket nowadays, you'll pay £36 a kilo for what they consider to be like super special ribeye, or whatever their age kind of equivalent is. Might seem like a bit of an effort going all the way down there, but yeah, you know what? I love it. I love going down there. I love doing the butchery videos and stuff. So yeah, let's keep them going. If there's anything else you want me to see me butcher, or just more of the same content, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. This stuff all needs vac sealing now, so I will see you later. And that's the last one done. Done, sealed, time to freeze it. I'll probably write on them what they are, just so I remember. But yeah, you can basically tell by looking. Like the sirloins are the longer, kind of flatter, less marbled bits, and then the ribeyes are obviously the shorter, fatter steaks with a little bit of marbling running through it. So yeah, time to get these in the freezer, and I'll see you all very soon for another video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you soon.